morning, Faith Church family. Let's stand and worship.
Sometimes on this journey, I get lost in my mistakes. What looks to me like weakness is a canvas for your strength. And my story isn't over, my story's just begun. Yeah, failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Yeah, failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house. That was not the end game, the journey's where you are. Never wanted perfect, you just wanted my heart. And the story isn't over if the story isn't good. Yeah, failure's never final when the Father's in the room. Failure's never final when the Father's in the room. Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house. Prodigals come home, the helpless find hope. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. And prison doors fling wide, the dead come to life. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. And miracles take place, the cynical find faith. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Jericho walls are quaking, strongholds now are shaking. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house. Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's.
That is from 4 until 6 at the Strand Adventures. So we hope that you will join us. It's always a lot of fun. There's always so much to do. My boys love going. And so you can sign up on the app as well and the website. So let's continue to worship, Ken.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never to let it all go, and I see it now. I'm laying it down, and I know that I need you. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, oh. You saw my condition, had a plan from the start, and your Son for redemption, and running into your arms is running to life from death, and I feel this rush deep in my chest. Your mercy is calling out, and just as I am, you pull me in, and I know I need you now. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart found a surgeon, my soul found a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again. Oh, oh, and again and again and again. Oh, oh, again and again and again.
Video, the word signs. You know, the English language, when you look at words, the interesting thing about the words in the English language, it's really in all languages, but huge in our language, is that those words can mean so many different things. Like, take that word signs. Sign, like a sign is a picture or something hanging up that tells us something or instructs us in some way. Like you know, you want to go out to a restaurant and you look into the window, and sure enough, there's the sign hanging there: we're open, or we're closed. And on the way to the restaurant, of course, you stopped at a stop sign. Also, the word sign, you can actually, you know, you fill out a document and it tells you to sign on the dotted line. Sign, meaning in your own handwriting, write your name on that line. It's a different way to use the word sign. Speaking of a different way to use the word sign, hopefully we'll have baseball. We are in this series that we are talking about signs of our times that will help us understand that there is a probable, dare I say, some certainty to the fact of things we see today that show us signs of what's coming in the future. And as we've been going through this series, we've talked a lot about some signs of the times that indicate things like the day of the Lord is coming. You know, the judgment of God is at hand. It will come soon. Or the tribulation period that's coming because we see the lawlessness and the destruction of our times now. How does it all end, though? How it all ends is that God will make all things right. In the end, God wins, and we will be with him in his paradise forever. As a matter of fact, let me read to you from the Bible as to how it all ends. Chapter 21, Revelation chapter 21. If you don't have a Bible handy, that's fine. We'll have it up here on the screen for you. But in Revelation chapter 21, the apostle, he who overcomes will inherit these things, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. I can't wait. Can you? Well, are there any signs today that would indicate that this eternity is probable, even certain? Are there any hints that we can look at that says, okay, this world that God describes here in his word, are there any hints today that we say, I can see that just might be possible, probable, even certain? I answer that with a resounding yes. Yes, there are signs. And here's the kicker. Those signs might be closer to us than we even realize. The other signs that we were looking at, they were all out there, we as Christians. So let's back up and go back through this a little more slowly. Let's begin back up in verse 1 again. It says, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there is no longer any sea. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'Behold, the tabernacle of God, the dwelling place of God, is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be among them.'" Now, I realize that the place that God finds his dwelling place today is in the church, among his people. We are his people as Christians. Here is where he wants to make his abode in the world today. And so the first sign of the glory to come, for right now, God is here. God is here among us, his children. As a matter of fact, if we jump back to Ephesians, the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, beginning at verse 17, the Apostle Paul wrote these words. He said, "And he," speaking of Jesus, "dwelling of God in the Spirit." We, the church, are the dwelling place of God in our day and age. I realize that God is everywhere, all the time. When we use big words, we say he is omnipresent. And yet the Bible is clear that God makes his tabernacle, his abode, his home in the world, in the church today. It is in us as Christians that we see this reality. It's because we want God here. We invite him to be a part of our experience. We want to honor him as our Father and follow him as his children. This is the place where his Holy Spirit dwells among us, in every Christian, I should say. As Christians, we are to shine this light to the world around us. And yet, I got to be honest, biblically honest, I'm saying, there is something about the church gathering where God's presence seems to be more bright and sad. It's a sign. It's like a shadow, a hint of the glory to come, the glory in the future. And so we, as his children, are to shine his light brightly, individually and together, so that the world can see that God is here. God is among us. And it's just a sign, a hint of the glory to come. in the eternity to come, the Apostle John goes on in verse 4, and he says this, "And he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. And there'll no longer be any death. There'll no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. The first things have passed away." You know, when the new heaven and the new earth come, this will be our experience. No more sorrow. No more pain. No more death. No more heartache. And although we have to wait for that day to come to experience it to its fullest, what's the sign? What's the hint that we experience that to a certain with you? I take a little bit of a risk because I don't know how this is going to turn out. I have a suspicion, but I want us to join in for a minute. And if you're watching at home, you join in as well. How many of us here, and if you're at home, you can